This is a book I first read when I was a teenager, and it's where I've heard about financial freedom for the very first time. Now, back then it looked a little different. It was before it became a million bestseller. It's from my first money coach, Bodo Schäfer, and he wrote this book. This is a German version, but it's also been translated into English, and it's called The Roadmap to Financial Freedom. And I remember when I was reading this book and I was going through, I was wondering, okay, where are the stock tips? Because I guess I thought becoming a millionaire is about investing into the right stocks. And instead what I found was a lot about taking responsibility and develop yourself as a person. And now, many, many years later, I want to share with you what I have learned so far about financial freedom and my own still ongoing journey to get there. So if the thought of becoming financially free is also intriguing to you, maybe because you don't want to have to work for the rest of your life, then keep watching. And I want to structure this about 3 main points, or rather 3 main steps that I have found to be relevant on this journey to financial freedom. And those 3 steps are: find the connection, choose your map, and build your skills. If we haven't met, I'm Sophia. This channel is all about building wealth, because that ever since has been my keen interest. And I share all the tips and strategies I learned along the way, including not living frugal while we build wealth. Subscribe if that sounds like your cup of tea. Now let's start with find your connection. So after I have read this book, what pretty much happened was that I put it aside because at the time I thought that the knowledge from this book doesn't apply to me yet. Because I didn't have a job yet, I was still a teenager, I was about to go off to university. And I think what happened is that I did not have a real connection to that goal, financial freedom. In a way, and this will sound a bit exaggerated, but I want to make it understandable, financial freedom at that time for me was pretty much empty words. Empty words that I hadn't filled up with meaning yet, with my meaning. And it actually wasn't until I started working and was in the reality of a full-time job that wasn't as comfortable for me as I thought it would be. And that for me was the moment where it went from, oh yeah, it would actually be nice to be a millionaire or to be financially free. And it transitioned to, okay, I need to become financially free so that I don't have to work my whole life and maybe be able to retire earlier. So now I had a real connection from my current reality to that goal of financial freedom. And if I had just had that sooner, at the time when I first read this book, I would probably already be there right now. But I'm not. And that is why I think it's so important, because I was held back all that time because the connection wasn't there. So this building a connection from your reality to that that notion of financial freedom, I would say, is the first part. And the other part, I would say, is to really define for yourself what financial freedom means to you. And I remember when I first started this channel, I was hesitant to use the words financial freedom, because in my head, becoming financially free means to, accumulate millions and millions of dollars in wealth. But then I found that this concept of financial freedom is used in many different ways, out there on the internet. So what financial freedom means for me is mainly being independent with my time. So pretty much how I'm spending my time, with what and also with whom. And I do like to enjoy, staying at nice hotels and going to nice restaurants and stuff. But for someone else whose dream maybe is to live on a farm and only do a trip by car into the next city or into the next region, that's also a dream life, someone else's dream life. And that would be financial freedom that requires way less money. Again, someone else might want to own a yacht and fly private all the time. And that's again a completely different dimension of numbers of wealth we're talking about. Do you know what I mean? So you probably already see where I'm getting with this. What financial freedom means to you is very personal. And after you have determined why you want financial freedom in the first place, which is find the meaning, the second part of the finding the connection would be to precisely define what financial freedom means to you, and also calculate how much, what your number is. So how much you would need in order to create that lifestyle for you. And then financial freedom transition from a very blurry concept to a very sharp goal. And then once you have that goal, which also is, a very concrete destination, the second step after that is to choose your map. And after a few years of learning about this and reading about this, I can already tell you there are many different maps out there. Some of those maps will tell you need to start a business. There is no other way to make a huge amount of money in a short period of time. Another one would be you need to climb the corporate ladder as fast as possible. And what I have found on my journey so far is that most of the time you get exactly the advice of the story of the person who you listen to. So if there's someone who had a huge exit with a software company, huge exit as in they've built a company and then they sold it for millions and millions of dollars, then this person will likely tell you to build a software company. Or someone who had financial success with an agency will tell you that an agency is the absolute best way to make money right now. Or if you've ever worked in corporate, then the person above you, your immediate boss or supervisor or whatever, will tell you that getting to that position and in that position and in that position is the best way to be financially successful or reach financial freedom. Now, I, for example, will tell you that no matter where your money comes from, if you want to reach financial freedom, you need to know how to handle it. And by handle your money, I mean money management and investing it and, turning your money into more money. Because that's what I'm doing myself. It's what I'm talking about here on this channel. And this has been working for me pretty good so far. There may be other people who say, once you have learned the skills of making money, you never have to worry about money again. And now from those hundreds of different maps out there, it becomes your job to decide or to choose which to follow. And that is not always easy because you might start out with one map and then you figure out, this isn't actually for me. Maybe it's not as fun as you thought it would be. And then you find yourself living a life that you don't actually want to live just for the chase of financial freedom. Do you know what I mean? And that, I think, is the main reason why I do not believe that the only way to financial freedom is building a business. Not just believe, I'm convinced. Because I know people and I also know of people who build $1 million net worth because they earn so well in their jobs and or they manage their money so well. And that now kind of transitions into step number 3, which is build your skills. And as you may have already gotten by now, coming from someone with a finance channel, is money management is a skill. It's something that you can learn so that your money works for you instead of against you. Now, earning money is also a skill. And the way I see this, and I also approach like myself, is that the skills you focus on leverage your strengths. And there have been not really studies, but surveys and real-world observations that show that building upon your strengths and leveraging that is much more effective than trying to become better at your weaknesses. Which simply means that when you double down on what you are already good at, it will get you much further in life than spending all your time trying to fix your weaknesses. And I mean, it's a fine line between concentrating on what you're already good at and also learning new skills. Because obviously you should not ignore skills that you need. So if you think you're not a numbers person, this should not hold you back from learning money management. Do you know what I mean? But when it comes especially to increasing your income, then taking a close look at what you're good at and then choosing a map that is based on that is far, far better than listening to generic advice. And in our age, we are so lucky because the internet and social media have made it so easy to find people, different people who talk about the same or similar things, but all from their angle and from their story. And so you can just listen to a bunch and then decide who you trust and who you identify with the most. And I think that's a huge advantage we have compared to the generations before us. One of the best advice I've ever heard, and it was also from Bodo Schäfer, was that do not take advice from someone who is not already there where you want to be. Like, do not listen to money advice from someone who doesn't have any. And I would even take that a step further and say, do not take advice from someone who is completely different than you. Different as in a completely different personality type, completely different goals than you have, completely different, I don't know, reasons or ambitions, that you have. For me, throughout my whole career, it was always important to have role models and to see, okay, if I go down that path, are there any people who live the life that I would design for myself? And asking myself that question actually became the reason, more than just once, where I abandoned or quit a path that I was going and chose another one instead. And maybe that will take you some time and some trial and error. And with each step you take, I think you learn more about yourself, and your priorities might change. They did for me. And that is all part of the game, and it's all good. And then the quest becomes to choose the map of a person you completely identify with. And maybe not even just in one aspect of their life, but in all of them. So now we have step number 1, which is find your connection to that actual goal of financial freedom. Step number 2 was choosing the map that is right for you. And then step number 3 is building the skills based on this map that you chose. And a part of that, or maybe even a step 4, haven't thought about that before, is take action, is take massive action in whatever was the outcome of this 3-step process. For example, by asking yourself, okay, what are my strengths and how can I double down on that? Or maybe money management, okay, I have neglected this until now, but now I'm taking action and I'm actually hosting a free web class on financial freedom, but the money management side of things, as you can imagine. If you're interested in that, there's a link down below. So I hope you got some inspiration and maybe some new, things to think about. If you're still here, thank you for watching this far, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.